It is Sunday night. You are sitting at your desk. The house is quiet and the world outside is asleep. You have a notebook in front of you and a pen in your hand. You feel a sudden, sharp surge of electricity in your chest. It is a feeling of power. You are writing down the plan. You write the words. Tomorrow, everything changes. You write down 5 a.m., wake up. 5:15, cold shower. 5:30, deep work, no phone. 7 a.m., gym, heavy lifting. You look at this list and you feel satisfied. You feel successful just by looking at the ink on the paper. You visualize yourself executing this routine. You see yourself disciplined, strong and unstoppable. You go to bed with a smile on your face, high on the dopamine of anticipation. Then Monday morning comes, the alarm goes off. It is dark, the room is cold. The bed is warm. And in that single, fragile second between sleep and wakefulness, the you who wrote the plan on Sunday night disappears. A different version of you wakes up, a weaker version. A version that whispers, just 10 minutes, it won't hurt. You worked hard last week, you need the rest. You hit snooze. The routine is broken before your feet even touch the floor. By Tuesday, the guilt sets in. By Wednesday, the plan is abandoned. By Thursday, you are back to your old life. Waking up late, scrolling through your phone, reacting to the world instead of commanding it. You tell yourself you lack motivation. You tell yourself you need more willpower. You watch videos about the morning routines of billionaires, hoping to find the magic trick that will make it easy. Stop. You are lying to yourself.
The problem is not your motivation. The problem is not the routine itself. The problem is that you are trying to negotiate with an enemy that wants you dead. Your brain is not your friend. Not in this battle. Your brain is a biological survival machine that has evolved over 2 million years to do exactly 3 things: conserve energy, avoid discomfort, and seek pleasure. When you try to build a routine that requires energy, embraces discomfort, and delays pleasure, your brain views this as a threat. It views your discipline as an attack, and it fights back with chemical weapons, fatigue, rationalization, and the seductive voice of laziness. You cannot convince this biological mechanism to change. You cannot motivate it to enjoy suffering. You have to force it.
The samurai Miyamoto Musashi did not have a morning routine to optimize his productivity. He did not have a bullet journal. He lived in an era where a lack of discipline didn't mean a bad day at the office. It meant death. A split second of hesitation, a morning of grogginess, a moment of weakness meant a sword in the neck. Musashi did not rely on habits. He relied on a code. He forced his brain through brutal, repeated, and non-negotiable training to submit to his will. He turned himself into a machine of war. We are going to apply Musashi's strategy to your life. We are not trying to build a healthy habit. We are going to force your brain to follow a routine that works whether it wants to or not. This is the Musashi method. The first reason your routine fails is simple. You are making too many decisions. You wake up and you ask yourself a question. Should I get up now? You walk into the kitchen and you ask, what should I eat? You sit at your desk and you ask, what should I work on? Every question is a trap. Every decision is a leak in your fuel tank. Musashi understood that hesitation is the seed of defeat. In a duel, if you have to think about how to strike, you have already been struck. The strike must happen before the thought. To force your brain to follow a routine, you must eliminate the option to choose. The samurai does not wake up and decide if he is a warrior today. He is a warrior. The identity is fixed. The actions are automatic. This brings us to the first tactical rule, which is the pre-decision. Your routine does not begin in the morning. It begins the night before. The battle is won or lost before you close your eyes. And if you wake up and have to look for your gym clothes, you have lost. If you wake up and have to decide which book to read, you have lost. If you wake up and have to clear the clutter off your desk, you have lost. Why? Because these small tasks require executive function, they require brain power, and in the morning your weak self, the biological machine, is looking for any excuse to conserve energy. Where are my shoes quickly becomes, I can't find them, I'll just run tomorrow. You must treat your evening like a strategic deployment. Musashi wrote, "In all things, have no preferences." This means you do not cater to your morning whims. You set the trap. At 9 p.m., you lay out the clothes. Not in the drawer, but on the floor, right where your feet will land. You put the book on the desk, open to the specific page. You fill the water glass, you write down the one single task you will execute first. You are programming the robot. When you wake up, you are not a human being with feelings and opinions. You are an automaton. You step into the clothes, you drink the water, you sit at the desk. There is no gap for the voice of weakness to enter. There is no space for negotiation. The decision was made 12 hours ago by a stronger version of you. The morning you is simply the executioner. Musashi wrote about a concept called sen no sen. It means attacking the moment the enemy thinks of attacking. It is a preemptive strike. In the context of your routine, your enemy is the micro-negotiation. We all know this enemy. It lives in the 5 seconds after the alarm rings. The alarm sounds, you wake up, and for a brief moment you are neutral. Then the enemy attacks. It's raining outside. I didn't sleep enough. My muscles are sore. I'll start tomorrow. If you listen to this voice for even 1 second, it grows stronger. It is a parasite that feeds on your hesitation. Most people lay in bed and debate with this voice. They try to use logic. No, I should get up because you cannot use logic against biology. Biology is louder. You must use sen no sen. You must attack before the voice can speak. This is the rule of physical override. You must disconnect your mind from your body. Musashi taught that the spirit must lead the body. In modern terms, this means action must precede motivation. You do not wait to feel like getting up. You will never feel like getting up at 5 a.m. to do hard work. You must train a physical trigger. Here is the technique. When the alarm rings, you do not think. You do not check the time. You do not look at notifications. You physically launch your body. It doesn't matter how. Roll out of bed and hit the floor. Sit up violently. Stand up and walk. You interpret the sound of the alarm not as a wake-up signal, but as a move signal. This is conditioning, just like Pavlov's dog. Alarm equals feet on the floor, no mental processing allowed. If you catch yourself thinking, "I'm tired," you must view that thought as an intruder, a virus. You cut it off with movement. Musashi wrote, "When you decide to attack, keep calm and dash in quickly, forestalling the enemy." Dash in. Do not give your brain the time to formulate an excuse. By the time your brain realizes what is happening, you are already in the bathroom splashing cold water on your face. You have stolen the initiative. You have won the morning before the enemy could put on its armor. Why do routines fall apart after a few days? Often, it is because of contamination. You wake up, you are ready to work, but then you check your phone. You see an email from your boss and stress spikes. You see a text from a friend and distraction enters. You see a news headline and anger rises. You see a perfect life on Instagram and envy poisons you. In 3 minutes, your mental state has been shattered. You are no longer the general of your life. You are a reactive soldier in someone else's war. Your brain is flooded with cheap dopamine and cortisol. The deep work you plan to do now, feels impossible because your brain is overstimulated. Musashi spent the last years of his life in a cave, the Reigando. He lived by the Dokudo principle, do not seek pleasure for its own sake. He understood that to reach the highest levels of mastery, one must protect the mind from the noise of the world. To force your brain to follow a routine, you must build a fortress of solitude. This is the rule of the sacred hours. The first 2 hours of your day are sacred territory. They are a no-fly zone for the outside world. No Wi-Fi, no data, no talking, no news. If you live with others, you wake up before them. If you can't, you wear noise-cancelling headphones and signal that you are invisible. You must force your brain to exist in a vacuum. Why? Because in a vacuum, the brain craves stimulation. If you remove the cheap stimulation of the phone, the brain will eventually become desperate enough to accept the hard stimulation of the work. Boredom is your ally. When you are sitting in a quiet room with nothing but your work, working becomes easier than staring at the wall. You are funneling your brain's energy into a single channel. Musashi wrote, "Do not let your mind wander." By physically blocking the exits, blocking the internet, blocking the noise, you force the mind to walk the path you chose. This creates a routine that is anti-fragile. It doesn't matter if the stock market crashes or if there is drama on Twitter. You don't know about it yet. You are in the cave. You are sharpening the blade. Now let's assemble this into a concrete, brutal protocol. We will call this the Ronin Protocol. A Ronin is a samurai with no master but himself. You are now the master. It begins at 9 p.m. the night before. The phone goes into prison mode, charger in another room, or locked in a box. The dependency is severed. 15 minutes later, the uniform is deployed. Gym clothes or work clothes laid out. Shoes ready, the visual cue is set, then the target. 1 index card, 1 goal written on it. Write 500 words, run 5 kilometers. Code the feature, not a to-do list, a kill list, 1 target. At 10 p.m, lights out. You visualize the morning execution. You see yourself moving without hesitation. Then the strike. At 5 a.m, the alarm rings. Sen no sen. You move immediately, feet on floor, no thought. 5 minutes later, physiology override. Drink water, cold water on the face, or a full cold shower. Shock the system into alertness. 15 minutes after waking, you enter the void. You enter the workspace, no phone to no internet, just you and the index card. And then the engagement. You start the task. You do not stop until the target on the card is dead. This is not fun. It is not balanced. It is a military operation. And that is exactly why it works. As you execute this, your brain will scream. Around day 3 or 4, the novelty wears off, the dopamine is gone. All that is left is the grind. The brain will say, this is boring, this is painful. Why are we doing this? This is the moment that separates the master from the amateur. The amateur interprets pain as a signal to stop. He thinks, I don't feel good, so something is wrong. The Stoic samurai interprets pain as data. Pain is simply the sensation of weakness leaving the body. Boredom is simply the sensation of focus being built. Musashi wrote in the Book of 5 Rings, "It is difficult to understand the universe if you only study one planet. Similarly, it is difficult to understand success if you only study comfort." You must study discomfort. You must become a connoisseur of it. When your brain complains, you must learn to talk back to it. Not with kindness, but with authority. "I hear you," you say to the weakness. "And I do not care. We are not doing this because it feels good. We are doing this because we said we would." You are retraining your dopamine receptors. You are teaching your brain that the reward does not come from the scroll. The The reward comes from the struggle. Eventually, a shift happens, a strange, powerful shift. You start to crave the difficulty. You start to look at the easy, comfortable lives of others with a kind of pity. You see them trapped in their loops of pleasure-seeking, never achieving anything real. And you feel a deep, quiet pride in your own insanity. You realize that discipline is the only true freedom. People will tell you that this approach is robotic. They will say you need to flow. They will say you need to be intuitive. Ignore them. Intuition is for masters. Discipline is for students. And we are all students. Until you have mastered your mind, intuition is just a fancy word for laziness. You need to be a machine before you can be a god. You need to build the chassis of routine, the engine of discipline, the armor of habit. Once the machine is running, once the routine is automatic, then you can find your flow, then you can create art, then you can change the world. But first, you must force the gears to turn. Musashi walked alone. He trained alone. He fought alone. He did not wait for the world to make it easy for him. He forced the world to respect him by forcing himself to be undeniable. Tomorrow morning, the alarm will ring. The enemy will be waiting. It will be warm and soft and persuasive. It will whisper, "Just 5 more minutes." What will you do? Will you negotiate? Will you debate? Will you be the weak version of yourself? Or will you draw your sword? Will you strike before it can speak? Will you step into the cold, into the void, into the work? Force your brain, kill the hesitation, build the routine, and let them call you insane, because the view from the path of the loner is worth it.